You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters, let's talk about Sophie Cunningham. Because her podcast, her latest podcast has come out, a couple of things have come out of it. Got some folks out there going, oh, look, oh my God, look how much they love Raven Johnson. We'll get to that in a minute. We will get to that in a minute. But first, we're going to talk about her contract situation. Because there's a clip going around where Sophie Cunningham is very honest, very candid about not being such a big fan of her contract. Now, there's a couple of things that I'm sure she's not happy about. Number one, the unfortunate timing between her MCL injury and her possibly getting a shitload of money. That doesn't help anything, and she talks about that. The other thing is, and let's just keep it real, some of the contracts to some of the people that we've seen have been like, what? Question mark. What? Question mark. Now, in case anybody has forgotten, there was a stretch of games last year, and let's just look. Right here, there was a stretch of games starting July 11th. This is basketballreference.com, running down until August the 12th, where Sophie Cunningham was on a rager. She was destroying everything in her path, and she was shooting the lights out of the gym from three-point range. This is her three-point percentage. 80%, 67, 67, 62, 75%, 80%. I mean, I argued last year that Sophie should have been in the three-point contest instead of Lexi Hull, and there was a reason for that. I had a back and forth earlier, just an hour ago, with some moron who I was starting to wonder if he was a stalker. That was going on and on about Sophie Cunningham and how she was not a valuable piece to them making the playoffs, and she missed half the season. Well, no, dickhead. She missed 14. She played 30 games, 14 out of 44 games, or 30 games out of 44 games. And that without that stretch I just showed you, this team is not making the playoffs. Stop it. With all these injuries they had, Sophie was a valuable piece. Frankly, I don't think she got enough credit last year. But everybody's wigging out over this little piece about her talking about her contract. In case you're wondering, her contract, 1 year, $665,000, guaranteed, right? Let's go.
The Fever re-signed our good, close personal friend, Sophie Cunningham, to a 1-year contract. Let's go.
It was close. It was close.
Can I be nosy right off the jump?
By the way, it was close. She just told you she almost went to a different team, I think, is how I interpret that. But I think she understands the value of being on this team and trying to win a championship.
Given the changes in structure and money and all of that over the last few weeks, like, was the contract better than you thought it would? Nope. Okay, sorry.
No, it's okay. I think,
sorry.
No, it's fine, because it's tough because I came off an injury and like, I haven't been in front of any teams. Like, I had a lot going on this off season. And I was fully cleared. They had all the doctors, they had the numbers and everything. But if you don't get in front of these people, then it's like, hey, like, are you actually good? And so that, I'm not even going to lie to you, that was like a little kind of frustrating, because I'm someone who, like, I kind of shoot it straight, where if I wasn't feeling good or like I was hesitant, I think I would have said something and like been honest, because I'm just in the point in my career where I just want to win. Like, I just want to win.
Dope.
And so
Dope.
I'm not going to put my ego and everything in front of things. And I know it is a business, but I think I'm just wired a little differently. I don't know. I just want to win. And so it was a little weird, but you know what? I think this is a great wake up call to not get comfortable. I think it kind of lit a fire under my ass even more. At the end of the day, like I'm coming back from a major, it was MCL. Like
totally,
you know what I mean? And so,
totally.
I feel good. I'm shooting the ball well. I'm mentally in a great spot.
Okay. So she was not fired up about the contract she got. But she wants to win a championship. And she recognizes the fact that she had an MCL injury. I am not bent out of shape over these comments at all. I'm just not. Oh my God, listen to her. She should be happy with the contract she got. Why? Why? If she thinks her value's higher than that, why should she just be thrilled with it automatically? People forget the number one trending athlete that was a woman in 2025 on Google was that woman right there. There's a lot more people that recognize her than recognize, let's just be real, all but maybe 5 other players in the entire league. If that. And I'm sure she understands that. If you look at her endorsements, there's a lot of entities that I think understand that. She also just told you she had something else on the table. Plus, she's going to call games or be the sideline reporter for the NBA, for WNBA games now, actually. So there's that. I'm not mad at her for that. But I will say this, if they don't win it this year, Sophie's out like a light. Plus, she's going to Project B. And she's probably going to make a couple of $1 million over there. Now, let's come over to this, because also as part of this podcast, she talks about the rookies and she talks about Raven Johnson. Fever rookie Raven Johnson received high praise from Sophie Cunningham after the first day of training camp. And you've got media outlets running with this. Raven Johnson is a freaking dog. We had our first day of training camp, and I just love her. And, of course, I posted shooting down the false narratives, because you're already seeing people right now, going, see? Caitlin Clark and Raven Johnson, or Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham, they love Raven Johnson. Do you believe either one of those entities or anybody else on this team was going to publicly drown Raven Johnson? No, I never believed that for a second. Did I think Raven Johnson was going to publicly drown Caitlin Clark or anybody else on this team? No. But we've seen what we've seen. And we've heard what we've heard. All right? There are no false narratives. We've witnessed. We've heard come out of her mouth. And she never directly ever dogged out Caitlin Clark, but she did F you to Caitlin Clark fans and called them a bunch of racists. So there's no false narratives. These players were never going to publicly drown anybody. That does not mean that everybody is cool with each other either. It just does. I mean, rarely are you ever going to see somebody as low level as Angel Reese actually go out and drown her teammates like she did last year. That was good enough to get her traded out of town to the Atlanta Dream. These comments from these players, that doesn't prove anything. It doesn't. I mean, they were always going to publicly play nice, and after high five gate that we had 2 days ago, where she blatantly stepped back and wouldn't high five Caitlin Clark. Once that happened, you can bet Indiana Fever PR said, look, we've got to make it look like everybody is singing Kumbaya. I put out a post earlier today, and I said, If you're expecting Caitlin Clark to publicly drown Raven Johnson and or Stephanie White, she's not going to do it. Because people are tagging me going, look, Caitlin Clark said something nice about Stephanie White. I never expect her to not to. She's not going to publicly drown Stephanie White, but she may hit the Indiana Fever with a trade request that makes your head spin off one of these days out of nowhere, and everybody's going to be like, oh, and I'm going to be like, yeah, told you. Told you. I mean, publicly, no. There's too much class there. From Sophie Cunningham or Caitlin Clark. I mean, we should understand that. It's not the way it works. Good Lord. Tell me what you think. Are you bent out of shape over Sophie's contract? Her comments. If you saw some of the people and some of the money's going around out there, if I was her, I probably wouldn't be too happy right now either. Peace, I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.